in my brief, i.e. to protect the integrity of this. Factors are present, has been held to be more compelling and been held to outweigh with regard to the release of
While doing the document release of procedure to the council.
Hayes, I represent the newspaper, the Denver Post, and we're here citizens, and funnels information about trials to a large number of individuals, noting that the press does not simply publish
continued suppression of 2 search warrants that were issued by the court in January and March of 1997.
Circuits in the United States, regardless of which test has been employed here, the majority of those cases have allowed for the documents in question petitioner's favor with regard to the release of pre-indictment search warrant documentation where it's received unprecedented national and sometimes worldwide news coverage, and the fact that the 11 months has gone by, I hope won't be persuasive to the court because it hasn't been to other courts.
Suppression of 2 search warrants that were issued by the court in January and March. Court will order reviewing the document to the council.
No, Your Honor. Connection with that search warrant has been in effect for approximately information about trials to a large number of individuals, noting that the press does not simply publish details or any of the ones.
In those cases, basically are the same as those that are advanced in my brief. Second to the last paragraph per order, that information is to remain sealed until there is an arrest in this case. Petitioner's favor with regard to the release of
what's in the autopsy report or the uniqueness of this case?
I think both are really important factors in this case.
So you feel good about what happened today? You feel pretty confident?
Yes. You know, the primary consideration that we have is to act to protect the integrity of the report and get this in front of the court, and we'll abide by whatever the court's decision is. So either way, it's okay. But I feel like we've made a strong argument that disclosure is inappropriate.
What do you think is your best argument?
Now, what about the integrity? The investigation.
Thanks, Madeline.
So, Tom, how do you feel now after the recess?
I can't say that anything happened since we last visited about this to change things. I think the county attorney said it all when she said, we don't know how long we need to have this autopsy report sealed. Any number, 30, 60, 90 days. It means that they really don't have a plan in this case, something they can share with the court that they can carry out and make use of secrecy. They just want to have secrecy for the benefit of the tactical advantage that might produce in interrogating witnesses or confronting a suspect.
You said the court was in a team of secrecy. Can you explain that?
Didn't say that.
Well,
I said I was concerned about the appearance that the court might be joining this team, who are the only ones that know about this case, if it is going to decide public access to this autopsy report based only on secret submissions that we don't get to see and statements of witnesses whom we don't have the right to cross-examine.
So you were offered the opportunity to see the autopsy report and the affidavits as well, and you turned down that opportunity. Can you tell us why?
It is essentially useless to me to actually see those things and attempt to make arguments if I don't have the right to cross-examine the witnesses. Besides that, I am concerned about joining the team myself, if you will. I feel a need to tell my clients what happened in this case, particularly if we lose it. It's hard enough to explain why I lose a case if it happens in open court, but when it happens in chambers where no one can see what's happening, it's very hard to explain. I don't want to be in that position. None of the people I represented in this case, wanted me to be in that position. They want to know what happened. They want the right to confront the witnesses against them.
Tom, you said you've been doing this for 20 years representing the media. 25, I'm sorry. From a perspective standpoint, have you ever seen anything like this where there's been such an effort to protect an autopsy report?
Well, I've seen attempts to protect autopsy reports. And to some extent, law enforcement reacts in a knee-jerk fashion to the proposition of disclosing anything in their investigation until they catch the subject. So that's not unusual. I guess what I think is unusual is calling upon a court to find that the public interest, in fact, is being harmed by disclosure of what the public's entitled to know in this case.
So, Hal, what do you think your chances are of getting that thing unsealed?
I really don't want to speculate on that. We're talking about what's going on in the judge's mind, and I don't think she would appreciate my speculating on it. Obviously, it was close. I had hoped that the judge would be a little bit more protective of the public's right to know than I sense from the hearing. But judges sometimes devil's advocate. We don't know what's going to happen.
Are you frustrated?
I'm always frustrated. This case is very frustrating. We'll see if the judges listen to me or not.
How do you sum up what your argument is, just in a nutshell? Public listens in, they say, well, what do you mean disclose the autopsy report? You know, leave the police alone. Let them do their job. How do you argue against that?
Well, in general, the law of Colorado leaves the police alone. They have the right to decide what to release and what not. But the General Assembly has said that that's not true of autopsy reports. The public has a right to see those. And that right can only be curtailed if the coroner goes into court and shows specifically that release of the report will harm the investigation.
But you wouldn't be here, and your clients wouldn't have sent you here if the news media felt that disclosure of this autopsy report would hurt the investigation. Am I right?
That's right.
How's the public helped if the judge rules entirely in frankly, in our favor, in our favor?
They have an opportunity to see what is known about this case, where we are, to some extent, to some very limited extent, in apprehending the perpetrator. They're perhaps able to